And then yeah, Ryan Cohen also acquires more cash on balance, which also result for him to acquire companies if he wants to use that cash. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk you guys through what happened and then what I'm looking at. So maybe I'll start with this one here. This is the right before GameStop earnings. So I mean, it has a similar, the fractals, hit, the thumb waves here as I was tracking, and then right in the timing, when they when the right in the timing where like it has to show directions, that's when GameStop tank, which Ryan Cohen's choose to dilute, not dilute, but did a private offering to add more cash on balance, which makes sense because he's gonna use that cash for acquisitions or just to create a bigger companies like Berkshire Hathaway. So that's kind of what we saw right before the earning. That's the fractals. And then after we saw prior offering and also GameStop earning, we tank it down. So which means that the fractals stretched out much further, a little bit further. And also the other important thing is the stretch out also can stretch fractal can stretch out vertically because of the fact that Ryan Cohen did a prior offering, stock tank in the spot where it came down. So I did believe that basically the short piled in. I saw I think there's a data where there's a lot of shorts. It's bigger than I think 2021 January, right? So this is a short volume, right? So this is a short volume where you see bigger than 2021. So this is a GME GameStop short sales. And as you can see, there's a couple big candles that you can notice. First one is 2021 January, and we have also one in last year May, right? So when you look at this, both candles, there was a huge candles popped up in those 2021 January squeeze, and also when Roaring Kitty came back and then create a gamma squeeze. And we have a much bigger one here, so which means that we are about to run, right? We are about to see something. We are about to see a big run, and I'm gonna show you based on the fractals that GameStop created. Also AMC, I'm gonna cover AMC after GME, because AMC is also tracking GME after GME did a private offering. AMC also follow GME pattern, and which they also dropped the price down, and then also waiting for the first thumb wave. So I think I think AMC will more likely follow GME's price movement, and when GME start to rally, AMC will start to run as well. So that's kind of typical basket stocks, as you guys know. So that's very interesting to see. One thing I can kind of just touch this one is the BBBY, right? So FTW guys, this guy says GameStop raised 1.5 billion. That matches 1.5 billion funded debt, bonds, and 6th Street for creditors, right? So 6th Street is the one that was used for deep finance, helping the company to finance, get out of the Chapter 11. And then there's a 6th Street is involved, and there's also bonds, right? So the creditors, in the recent filing, creditors declined the declined the new Third Amendment plan or something. I don't know. So basically, they want their money back. And then what's interesting is 6th Street is the prior admin or something. So which means that they're in the first prior to receive the fund, but they say, hey, you know what? Let the bonds creditors, class 6, get the money first, and we're gonna take the money later. That's very interesting. Which means that they're gonna cause waterfall. So so basically BBBY, based on, you don't have to know everything, but just to kind of see the timeline with the GME, BBBY, and AMC, it's set up a point where they're ready for some sort of acquisitions or merger, right? And then Sixth Street, another important thing that I just quickly want to touch on is since maybe there's no BBY shareholders, maybe there's only AMC people or GME people, this Sixth Street is involved with BBBY. The interesting part is this Sixth Street is a bank, right? It's a finance bank, but this guy is a Dune Morris. This company is helping Sixth Street, but they help. They handle the work on behalf of Carl Icahn to work on Donald Trump entertainment result that went into Chapter 11. Okay, so when you think about it, when you think about all the connections, Trump is now the president of United States, right? And also another thing we wanted to, you want to know is Carl Icahn also last year December, he said basically if the Donald Trump get elected, right, the merger and acquisition will more likely will boost up, right? So I don't know if I can show this one. Yeah, Carl Icahn, Trump wins could boost proposed merger. So this post was on about 7 months ago, last year December, right after Donald Trump got elected. So look at this connection between Carl Icahn and Trump, and also Carl Icahn, Trump, right? And also Sixth Street, Dune Morris. This Dune Morris law firm is helping doing work on behalf of Sixth Street. There's a Carl Icahn was behind the Sixth Street, and he was what? Helping the reorganization in the Chapter 11 proceedings of Donald Trump, right? Which means the Sixth Street is involved with BBBY. So which more likely BBY, there's definitely active investors such as Carl Icahn or Ryan Cohen is involved, right? And Ryan Cohen is involved. So those are the things that BBY people are waiting for. They know this. They've done DDs. There's a Trump connection. There's a Carl Icahn connection. There's an activist investor connection. That's why BBBY, shoulders are stay very strong with all the DDs that like there's amazing DDs here. So, but yeah, there's connection there, right? So. And what this guy is saying is, the money that GME raised, basically that cover up the, pay up all those creditors and Sixth Street, and that also, and then they raised 1.75 bill, recent one that also can, match with the estate buyout, which is $15, 170 million float. This is before. Hudson Bay Capital, whoever they jump in, right? So that increased the share outstanding up to 750 or something, 730 or something, somewhere between. But those are synthetic shares pretty much. And then that when you calculate the amount, this is from Teddy illustration book. There's a $15, and then there's a cash, right? So hot dog C, this bird looks like A. Snake S, Teddy holding this toy H. So there's possibility, and then this also doesn't include the former board member lawsuit settlements and MSCC large shipping company settlements. So there might be somewhere between maybe billion we're kind of looking at. So yeah, I think we're gonna find out very soon how Ryan Quinn's move with the BBBY and stuff. So we're gonna find out, I think, very soon within this year. In this year, people say, like, are we gonna find out within 5 years or 10 years? No, we're gonna find out this year, and I'm gonna explain why with the Bitcoin. So PP said, I know PP kind of jokingly kind of threw this one out, but I just want to point out that my TA predict the war between Israel and Iran. Because I mentioned about this one before, and probably PP thought about this one. This is January post this year, and then I mentioned that Bitcoin is going to collapse. And then this is another post in June, and then final warning before crash in June and July, because I see there's the same double top bottom, double top of some sort of a like pattern you see. And also the when you look at RSI is also a similar setup as this one. And basically it's about to collapse. And this is a SPY, and this fractal is from 2008 financial crisis. And then basically after it hit its top, pull back and come up again, and basically this is basically pulling out all the people, because it looks like it's gonna go up, but they're gonna eventually tank everything. And now you see all those political war going on between Iran and Israel, and I think there's a lot of news and war like kind of related news will most likely will portray it in the media to basically kind of provoke the fears in the market. And also short hedge funds, maybe they can short, but the short hedge funds who has been shorting like whole basket stocks, and they manipulate the stock with the swap and derivatives. Now is their time to cover their short positions this year. And right now your cycle is there. That's why Ryancoin is doing his own thing. BBY is still work in the progress, but pretty much in completion. So so yeah, we're gonna find out this year within this summer. So we're gonna see, I think, first pretty large rally in July before 741, before July 14. So basically between June OPEX and July 14. So we're gonna have that run. The next one is gonna be the final short squeeze phase for this year, and I think the next squeeze is going to be in 2027. And then that's gonna go with the whole bull market with the big tech stocks after this tanks. Okay, so that's just kind of how I see it for now. But we're gonna see a squeeze this year. But I'm still trying to figure out whether we're gonna see this final squeeze either August or September. Okay, or it could be delayed to October, right? I don't know, but what you see here is a SPY. If the speed is correct and then the timeline is correct, we're gonna see a run between June OPEX to July OPEX, okay? And then we're gonna see a second run between August or September, or maybe possible October. But that's I'm still trying to figure out. So I think I still need more data or more time to figure this out. And then I'll keep you guys posted here. So I'm just kind of looking at the whole market in general with the SPY and Bitcoin, which is gonna collapse, and also the whole basket stock. So so let's kind of jump on to the the fractals here that I'm looking at here. So let me just maximize the screen. So I'm gonna compare with GME and AMC, because AMC has definitely following GME fractals here. So I'm gonna change to this one to logarithmic. So so this is GME. So they bring the price down from here. I think they start to bring the price up here. I think they somehow changed the fractal, but anyway. And then what they did basically is to create a fractals where they extend a lot bigger. So which means that this is last year May run, right? So when RK got in, that's kind of what they created. And after that, there was a one more run before squeeze, right? So now we are about to kind of enter this phase between this one and this one, right? Between early May, right? But at the time, the speed of algo was extremely fast compared to now. I mean, right now speed is extremely slow. I think because the fact that they have to run this thing big, maybe that's why they are taking a little more time here. But when I look at AMC has very nice pattern where you could kind of see it mimics very similar to the GameStop last year May run, right? So this is AMC right now. This is actually GME GME last year. So AMC kind of mimic, I think, very similar to, because right now I've been mentioning AMC is already kind of into that kind of 2021 January squeeze cycle, but it doesn't look like they're running. They're actually tracking 2021 January cycle. They're actually tracking the GameStop May run. So it's funny, right? So they switched up. They switched their algo to GME 2021 May run. I don't know why. That's what market makers did. So they're just kind of waiting for GMEs to pop, I think. That's why AMC is also using their fractals, maybe. So from here, as I kind of point this whole thing out, this one was kind of here. It all went through this one, B phase, C phase, and drop. And now this thing had this one pullback here, which what they did. One large, one more pullback, and which I think they did here. And last Friday, they, pushes up. RSI pushes up here. RSI is at 41 level. This is exactly a 38 level, right? So some are very close. So there right now, when you look at this kind of thumb wave here, right? I mentioned this thing drop at these points. They create a thumb wave 1, 2, 3, right? They did a tung 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 like a Dune, right? Movie. When you look at the reference. So before this thump, right? You see there's this thing pops and they have a little bit pullback and then they go up, right? You see how this thing pop and pull back and then push, right? So right now, I think we are just at this level. Okay, maybe I'm gonna change the color here. 1 second. So right now, I think we are at this level, right? They hit the bottom and then pushes up and then come down and they're ready for this pop. So if we see that kind of pop next Monday, then I think we would more likely follow this to the GME fractals here, right? So right now, both of GME and AMC, they're here. So they still gotta go through, I think, this 3 thumb wave here. If that's correct, we're here May 1st last year for GME. So basically May 1st, 12 o'clock, 12:30 p.m. here, this pullback. So when you look at this one, let's come back to AMC and then have a look at where we at. So I'm gonna kind of change the color just to kind of see between the candles and then fractals. So we have a pullback, right? And then now the setup is right there. You see that? It popped, right? It moves and pull back. It moves, pull back. It perfectly set it up there. So if what I'm seeing is correct, by next Monday we should see AMC pop up to this level, like $33, 60 or 50 cents, whatever. Basically about how much is it? That's about 13%. So if we AMC pop up to about 13% by Monday, then that confirms first a large thump, and then after that we're gonna see a pullback right before U.S. FOMC meeting, right? There's gonna be a interest rate decision, and Japanese interest rate will be made in June 17. So so those are the time we're gonna see a first thumb wave. So let's kind of watch out if it plays out like that, right? So if it does, if confirms, then that's really good confirmation that this is tracking May 2024 GME. So that's the first thing I think, first thumb that I wanted to kind of look at. And then second thumb, I believe that GME, their whole offering will be complete by I think somewhere like near June 18 or something. That's where FOMC meeting is at. So basically they're kind of doing this one, right? So they pushes up, pull down by FOMC meeting, the settlements complete, maybe the second pop happen and pull back, And I don't know how they're gonna make the third pop, but whatever, I think third pop is gonna be smaller one anyway, so doesn't really matter. So June OPEX is gonna be here, and then this gonna be June 24th. So I think something somewhere between June 23rd or June 24th, Monday or Tuesday. I think the run will begin, in my opinion. Maybe either Monday or Tuesday, and kick off this rally like this one, right? So I'm just kind of looking between GME and AMC, because since AMC seems like following this last year May run really more closely, right? It mimicked very nicely. So it's good to track this thing both at the same time. So if this kick off the run, obviously the speed of algo, everything will count depending on the day, depending on the week. But Ryan Quinn always mention about the 741. The 741 is also Teddy Book's number. 741 is here, so we're gonna see a July run for sure. I think that's set up. I don't know how they're gonna kick off the run, but something's gonna be announced maybe July 23rd or July 24th. That will kick off the run. And if you guys have any DD or any tinfoil in regards to June 23, June 24th, which is the start of the run, that will end the first rally before July OPEX. So June 14 is gonna be the day that it's gonna drop, but it's gonna top off around July 7th or 8th, 7th. For AMC, it's gonna top off around June 30. So I mean, it's like a 1 week apart, but still, I believe maybe GME fractals, maybe, I don't know. So I mean, this whole fractals here is gonna be determined the final short squeeze phase. I think it's easier for me to kind of identify when it's gonna be. But yeah, if I see this fractals plays out, okay, from right now, what you see here, from here pullback, like rally to pullback, this will give me enough information to track the next fractals for the final short squeeze phase. And I'm still debating whether this is gonna be August or September. For GME, GME has an earning on September 3rd. If the August run is correct, then by the pick up this the top of the squeeze, maybe GME announce something that will drop the whole thing. I don't know what is the cause of it, but by next earning, I don't know. So I'm really just kind of debating where. And then when you also look at this one, AMC next earning is August 6th. That's estimate though, but still. And this thing is when the GME when the Roaring Kitty come back and create a gap up. That's the phase. So it perfectly line up there. So I think it's potentially there's a between August and September is gonna be the final short squeeze phase for this year. But I'm still trying to figure out too. So I can't really tell you when is the right month. But first of all, I think we're gonna see a June between June OPEX to July OPEX. This end of June to July rally. So that's kind of hoping to see that soon. And when you look at costs also drop when GME dropped too, right? So costs also drop. And then I've been kind of tracking this cost July, and I mean it is tracking, but it just they like how they also drag things thing out. That's kind of what they basically did here, I think, in my opinion. So they already hit all these points, and now they're in the kind of pullback phase, and they might have to go through this same thing. Like how GME AMC does. So I this is kind of a bigger this is just the fractals that are kind of to show you the bigger picture. Maybe I gotta shrink it down here. Now when you just kind of look at this whole fractals here, I took a fractals from from this pullback to next run. So this is the fractals I have, and it matches perfectly here, as you can see. And that's this fractals. And then when you look at this fractals as well for cos, I think cos is here now. They're doing this, so they're gonna also do very similar to what GME and AMC is gonna do, go up and down 3 times. And as you see, I mean, you could see a very it's hard to see what this kind of pattern is, but you could kind of see it goes up and down 3 times, right? Go up, down, go up, down, go up, down, like that. So there's certain patterns that kind of show you when this thing is gonna go up. Let's see. So right now, based on this cause, it looks like it's gonna start to rally July 18, but I don't really believe so. I mean, I feel I'm more onto GME fractals and AMC. That's more clear. This cause is very difficult to track, but yeah, when it's GME AMC rally, it'll run all together. But what I want to show you is this kind of go up and down 3 times. It does kind of does similar a pattern before rally. Same thing with this one, GME and AMC, right? So it goes up and down 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So those are the things that I think we should kind of pay attention to, how this thing's gonna play out by end of June. Same as GME. Let's just kind of have a look at this one. This is 30 minutes on the right side for last year May. This is right now the speed is very slow, so I'm watching out in 2 hours. And as you can see, this is GME on the left side here right now. So yeah, GME, hold on, there's just too many shit going on. Yeah, GME here, they just did a pullback, but still RSI is moving up. What also they did here is they go up and down, right? They go up and down, and then there's a pop. So I think that's kind of what they're making here. So I'm hoping to see a large, massive pop by Monday, and then drop by FOMC meeting. Okay. So those are the things that I'm watching out. And when this thing kick off the run, based on the size of the pullback, and that also stretched out the whole fractals, we could see a massive run. But I this is not a confirmed, what I mean? Like, this is not a confirmed, like squeeze price, the rally price. This is just kind of speculation. But we could see we could reach $200 level, I think. Yeah, or I mean, we could break above. Oh, okay, all I can say is we could break above maybe the last year May and June high. This is kind of, I think, important, right? So either we're gonna hit the top of the July top, which is about $60 range here. There's a $60 and $70 range, so we could see that retest, like how this thing retest here and have a small pullback and then another run. So and then break this one and then come down to this level again, because to and then do the retest again, right? This last year June high, right? May and June high. So they might do this one. So pick up the run might be $100. I don't know, but that's kind of what this fractals show me. And then from here, if I measure from where it's at to this one, it gives you let's say go up to $100 level. It gives you about 360%. Okay, and when you apply 360% to AMC, I'm going to show you a very interesting thing, okay? If you apply 360%, that's about here, $14. You know what's interesting is AMC left a gap. So AMC had a gap here, right? They left all this gap, after they did the ape conversions and multiple dilutions. But market makers, they left this gap, right? So this is all the technical gap they made here. And then the last year when Roaring Kitty came back, they filled this gap at a close to $12 here, right? 11 something, but yeah, I just call it $12. And they also had a gap here at $9.50. I just call it $10. So they filled this $10 and then $12 gap last year. And also they have one more gap down here, which is a $4 and another small one at $3. All this gap, these four gaps were filled when RK came back, right? But another thing I noticed was they left another gap at $12 again, and I asked myself why. Why they left the gap? Because they need that gap for a certain reason, right? They're not gonna just left this gap, right? So when they go up so fast, AMC, and then when they come down fast, they left this another gap at $12, which means for market maker, this is another placeholder. So that means they're gonna fill this gap in July, right? Just July run for sure. That's kind of what I'm expecting. So, but if I add 350% here, that also in this area in the zone, which is about, if AMC go up to 350, it goes to $14. That will fill this $12.50 gap, right? So it makes sense. And then it's gonna have a pullback to this level here again, I think, right? Another maybe $6.60 or something, anyway, something like that. $6.50 gap. Sorry, $6.50. So we're gonna see. We have to also watch out if they, where they're gonna leave the gap and then go up. And I think they're gonna come down to fill that gap, in this, because it seems like they're running this fractals. And after that, AMC have a next gap at $17. I call this one $20 because it's pretty large gap between $17 to $19. So I just call it 20. And then we have this $40 gap. There's another huge gap. All this gap will be filled in this squeeze phase, not July, but next one. They're building a big one here. And I think this thing's gonna blow up to a huge number. I'm not sure, but okay. So when I look at this regular price, this thing can hit. Let me see, $20. $20 here in small rally in July, and then big one in 170. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out because AMC is very difficult. AMC is very difficult to track, but when I look at this logarithmic view, AMC could hit 400 or 700. I don't know. I don't know how big it's gonna run, but if that happens, that's the peak of this thing. So I'm still trying to figure out. So I don't know, but I think it might be more like this one. You see how? So basically, you treat this as a 2021 squeeze, because that's kind of what I figure out. Because it seems like they're making a big squeeze here. That's for sure, right? That's not arguable. So we're gonna people who track the data, who look at the the fractals and whatever DDs that you're doing. We know that we're gonna see a squeeze here. Like the MMTOP people or BBY people, we're gonna get our equity bag or the payment bag and shit like that. But when I've been thinking about how they're gonna run this thing as a market maker's point of view, they don't have a liquidity here, right? So they have to go out and liquidate their assets, such as Bitcoin, crypto assets, or whatever, real estate. That's why they're tanking. Whole market has been tanking, right? The Hong Kong, the real estate market tanked about 40-50% already, right? How about a whole Asian country, why is that? The people are pulling back money, right? The I don't want to get into the whole shit, but look at the U.S. too. The real estate market, even Canada, it's collapsing. Why? They've been pumping, like how they pumped like like a bull market, and then they just pull the liquidity out if they need to, right? I guess, right? But anyway, I mean, there's a lot of different causes here, but this major banks who lend out shares, do a naked short selling, hedge fund, market maker, whoever involved with this the scheme of naked short selling, the market manipulations, and I think enough is enough. And now when you look at this whole cycles, this year is the year for the cleanup operation. Now Trump is in charge. His connection with the call icon with the Ryan Cohen. The setup is clearly there. Now the question is, when are we going to a squeeze? And I think squeeze gonna be this year, but we're not gonna be but the timing of the squeeze is, I think, is something crucial. And I think right now, because of the fact that when I look at GME and AMC, because I know some people in the other community, they look at AMC like oh yeah, it's a shit stocks. Yeah, I mean the price tank shit, like I mean yeah, and sometimes the chart look like shit. They're barcoding, I know, but I look at it in a perspective where, like, yeah, they're in the same basket stock. When GME blow up, AMC will blow up. But how about if you're let's say you're a market maker, let's say they're all together, they're all whole basket stock. But sometimes AMC has this kind of pattern where, like, let's say I went back to check 2021, and then I thought, okay, right now we are now repeating the same 2021 cycle here. Okay, so they clearly went through this whole thing. Now we are here. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but we are here. So we went through this whole thing, this whole crash, come down even harder here, and then we went through the sideway. During this sideway, we see a Roaring Kitty came back, and then this thing blew up, and we have one more pullback, from here to here. And now we are heading for this giant 2021 squeeze cycle. But now, due to the low liquidity environment compared to 2021, that time Fed prints a lot of money globally. The country prints out a lot of money, so the algo runs so fast. There's so much liquidity. So although we are going into that cycle, I don't think we are kind of doing the same thing. But now we are in a different environment, right? It's a different environment. Back then, more money, the faster algo is. But right now, it's a reverse. So now it's the final, kind of not final, but we're in the squeeze phase. The market makers, hedge funds, the banks, now they have to cover their short positions, and they have to liquidate their assets. That's kind of the cycle right now. It's very different environment. So Bitcoin collapsed due to maybe they're gonna, liquidate their Bitcoin assets and some of the big tech stock, whatever. So, and then they're gonna maybe start to use that to cover their short positions or cover their assets, shit like that. So that's the first one. So that's kind of what we're gonna see this year. And I thought, okay, you know what? What if this thing delays, right? And the second squeeze, which is what you see in June, right? So in AMC, the interesting thing is, unlike, different than GME, like AMC has a squeeze in January, and then they have another one in June, and after that market crash. And I was thinking, because I know the fact that the big tech stock, because right now big tech stock, Bitcoin, is a bear cycle, but I know in 2027, which is 2 years from now, that's the bull run. That's a bull run for whole thing, crypto market, Bitcoin, everything is the run, right? So that's why, and even XRP. I know there's people who are XRP community. yeah, XRP is tracking same thing as what I have it here, right? This is a last bull run here, right? They're just going through this 2017 June, right? But it's much more because the low liquidity, because the XRP size is bigger, they're dragging out further. So when I kind of attach to this fractals, this thing's gonna run in 2027 February, right? Hit $20. So if that's the fact, if the market maker decide to run this thing because of low liquidity, because the cleanup operation they have to do with the meme basket stocks, they're gonna liquidate, right? And when the next bull run happen, and also when you look at the Tesla is also in that kind of what do you call that, bear cycle, okay? And then let's this is the Tesla, right? So Tesla does this after bull run in 2021, 2020, pullback, right? This pullback phase, same as this yellow box. Now we are kind of going through this phase in this pink box, and then this big tech's gonna big tech stocks gonna liquidate. Final pullback by early next year, and then bull run together, right? 2027. So I was thinking maybe the next big squeeze is also going to happen in 2027 here. So that's kind of what I'm seeing here, you know. So we're gonna see a squeeze this year, but we're gonna see a next squeeze in 2027, and that one is gonna be a bigger. So let's AMC will hit $400 or something, you know, 450 or something like that. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So it doesn't mean that we're not gonna see a squeeze. We're gonna see a squeeze here like 2021. So treat this this year as 2021 January squeeze for AMC and and GME. But for June squeeze for AMC, we're gonna see that in 2027 because they don't have the money. They don't have the liquidity, right? So it's just kind of dragged out further, and then I think that's how I see. I might be wrong, but if you guys see same way or agree with this, my opinion, seeing the first squeeze in 2025, the second squeeze in 2027, and then crash altogether with the big tech stock and small cap, right? That's kind of what I figure out. So but anyway, so that's kind of GME run here, July, same thing. This is going to be a big giant squeeze here. I'm wondering what they're going to be announcing here. So somewhere between August and September, that's going to be the final squeeze, in my opinion. But we'll see. I always say, hey, this is going to happen, looks like, but market makers delay, and then maybe the squeeze can delay to October or November or December, who knows. So it's gonna be it's hard to say yet, but for sure I think we're gonna see a July run. We are we are extremely close. Oh shit. So yeah, oh shit. That's kind of what I can tell you for today. So hoping to see the first thumb wave, the second thumb wave by FOMC meeting, and then third one maybe after June OPEX, and then run biggies on June 23 or June 24th. And I'm curious what GameStop will be announcing. Yeah, Michael said Nat Turner, he's a PSA guy, right? He's a board member or CEO of PSA or something. But he's in GME. He's been GME board member since last year. But why he hasn't bought the shares? And basically, Michael said Yeah, because he's getting GME shares as a part of the all stock buyout of the PSA, and I think this is a good idea because that could use that as a catalyst to blow this up, right? Because right now the short sellers and the hedge funds, they're like, yeah, fuck it, I'm not gonna run this thing, so they have to forcefully squeeze this thing. And I think we need the catalyst, and that catalyst can be this one, right? And then let's say if PSA buyout, and now the board members and like Ned Turner has to they get GME shares instead of I don't know, cash or something, and yeah, that's a forcefully like force short squeeze. So market makers or hedge funds, yeah, they're gonna start cover their short positions and buy back shares, and then as stock price go up, and option more option traders stack jump on it and then create a whole gamma squeeze. Yeah, that's perfect setup. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here. First one. The final short squeeze, this is the big one. GME hit, how Greg, he always talks about 500. This thing hit around like 500, or probably like 8 something hundred. So by summer, maybe August or September, but I'm still trying to figure out. But and if you guys know, I know there's a POI, point of interest. If you guys know when is the next POI, please comment down below so that I can kind of also track with this whole fractals. But for now, this is kind of what I have here. So if right now BBY is about to come out as from the chapter 11. So let's say, like how Michael said, if PSA Ned Turner gets GME shares, with the because of the buyout, and the stock price moves, and then create a gamma squeeze and short squeeze, whatever. What if BBY is also at the same thing, So right now BBY shareholders are waiting for chapter 11 exits, and and waiting for those new equities and stuff like that. But what if there's another post somebody made, and I think it's great, somebody shared with this one. Yes, sir. So RC quietly working on acquiring BBY and a merger acquisitions, and its days ahead. He's recently did a share offering with the amount of matches total outstanding with BBY shares, which isn't a coincidence. I believe he created those shares for himself to bridge conversion, is essentially allowing BBY shareholders to receive a GME shares. So this is something that kind of BBY shareholders kind of I think we've been talking about this since last year or something. When I went to Atlanta event last year, the Pulte and PP events, I don't know which one, but I don't know if it was Jake or Mike or someone, the DD writers, one of the DD writers kind of mentioned about this kind of scenario where like BBY shareholders might receive other stocks such as GameStop. I was like, how? And then instead of just only new equity, so I was like, okay, how? And then those are the buyout, the scenario. So let's say GameStop buyout, let's say BBBY, the shell company, private company, and then as you guys probably seen, the Larry has been kind of talking about the private, the company scenario. If private company merged together, company gets this much of a percentage of shares, whatever. I think I've seen that. So so I think he's also hinting something like that. So what if the BBY come out as a chapter 11 exit, and Ryan Cohen decides to buy out all the shares with the GME shares? If he buy out the BBY as a GME shares, and the BBY shareholders receive GME shares. And that also is a setup for a forced a short squeeze, right? Because market maker and the short hedges be like, hey, you know what? I don't give a shit about covering my short positions in this thing. And then now Ryan be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy this company, and then with this GME shares, and with GME stuff, and then you have to buy GME to cover your short positions in BBBY. And what happened? The GME stock goes up. Shareholder receive a BBI shareholder receive maybe the fraction of a GameStop shares. That's also forced short squeeze, right? And also, if BBI also comes out as a new equity, if BBI also offer a new equity, that's another squeeze in BBY as well. So I think there's a very good chance. I think it's possible that maybe BBI shareholders also might receive a fractional GameStop shares, along with new equity from BBY. So we'll see. So that's something that kind of BBY community has been kind of talking about, and I think maybe it's possible. Who knows? But the setup is there. She also mentioned that we're not just only looking at the cash settlements. I believe that we are getting shares in return as well. And then also I think I believe that as well because of the fraud. Unlike slightly different than the Hertz cases. Hertz case doesn't have the fraud, but BBY has a fraud. Now MSCC, the large shipping company, they settle, right? They settle with their fraud. They've been delaying their shippings and stuff like that, and that's one of the reasons why the BBY also got impacted and then went to Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Also fraud from executives, right? All the former executives. They also Mark Tritton was a CEO before Sugov, and then he did a share buyback, $1 billion. Where did you see that? I've seen recently that this healthcare CEO, he's going to go to jail for I think about 20 years or 30 years because of that $1 billion. Healthcare CEO Gary Cox found guilty in $1 billion Medicare care fraud cases, right? Face maximum sentence up to 60 years. That's fucked up. So that means, that's the same amount. $1 billion fraud is the same amount that Mark Tritton did with their accelerated share buyback in BBBY, right? And why he did that? He needs to get approval from board members, but why he did that? Maybe possibly from JP Morgan, maybe possibly to save his seat, board members. There's a fraud. And then Proti also mentioned that Mark has to go to jail. If he goes to jail, he has to serve up to 60 years in federal prison. So this post was very interesting to kind of see and then connect the dots, right? So there's a huge problem here. So BBBY has a fraud, and there's a settlements from companies, right? And we're not only just getting shares, BBBY shareholders not only just getting shares. There's gonna be a cash settlements from those frauds, right? So yeah, I think we got all the DDs, and we did all the DDs, and now we just have to kind of see how this whole thing's gonna play out. So I really like this kind of post here. And another guy, he posts this one here, and then I do his ideas. Did Roy and Kitty ask for this? I mean, this post from a year ago, and then asking Ryan Quinn making a deal June 11th. June 12th, Kitty needs to wait to rob the bank. He needs option to be cheapest. June 13th, tries to catch a giant worm. Big run coming up. June 17th, offering ends. So he basically saying that maybe Roaring Kitty is about to make a lot of money here, but he wants the options to be cheap. So yeah, so that he can catch the big worm. So yeah, I like his idea. That might be it. So now option is so cheap. Maybe Arcade come back. I mean, Arcade, I don't know if he's gonna come back again, but maybe Arcade is maybe stacking up some options, create a gamma squeeze here or something, So that's kind of good point. I like that. So yeah, I think that's kind of pretty much it, guys. So yeah, I'm seeing a lot of potentials here. A big squeeze this year. So yeah, hoping you guys make a lot of money this year. And then yeah, also BBY shareholders are waiting for their equity back, their the settlements payout, all those kind of stuff back. So I really hope that this ends. I mean, this will end this year, but I'm wondering, yeah, the PSA things will might be happening here maybe. So maybe this June, between June OPEX and July OPEX here, maybe this could be the PSA stuff. Because I've seen recently that if you went to the PSA website, this redirect you to a GameStop website. So there might be something here. So maybe they could they use this cash, they stack up with like how much is it now, 7 billion or something, I don't know, like 8-9 billion, whatever they have. Like they could start acquiring companies. So maybe they acquire PSA, the board members gets payout with the GameStop shares. And maybe that could be the good test. I like the Michael's thesis about the PSA board members get GameStop shares. I think that's a good test to test out how BBBY shareholders receive GME shares, because that's a huge thing too, right? And I think to create this final huge squeeze this year. So which means the BBY can wrap up by between July and August, and payout happen here, and then boom, right? And I don't know, I haven't really followed the dockets, the schedules and stuff for BBBY, but I believe that the final hearing is like somewhere in like July or something, isn't it? June or July. So they have to announce something, don't they? I don't know. I don't know how the process works, but I thought maybe, yeah, I know the fact that they have to announce their disclosure statement, which means that how shareholders gonna receive their payout. And also the next report from BBBY, the P, what is it called, like P something something report, that you have to report the whole financial stuff. So I think next report we're gonna see the cash settlement from MSCC, right? And I think in July. So that also give us kind of idea how much we might get. So I think July is the month of the discovery of I think what BBY shareholders gonna receive. And because when I study Hertz cases, Hertz also received the sort of shareholders of Hertz, older shareholders of Hertz receive the disclosure statement and also Chapter 11 exit at the same time, around the same time, and then a month later they receive those settlements and cash and payout, the new shares and stuff like that, and warrants. So if I apply the same timeline, that means I think BBY shareholders will find out the disclosure statement and Chapter 11 exit somewhere here, maybe somewhere between July and this August area. I think July, and then a month later, BBY shareholders receive something. Some of those things happen, and then boom, start squeezing. So that makes sense, because BBY squeeze. If that happens, it's gonna be crazy. So, and then if GME blow up, AMC is gonna blow up too, right? It's just kind of same thing. So, but yeah, fuck. But anyway, that's kind of pretty much it for today. We'll see how we'll see if we're gonna see a first thumb wave Monday. If you see. How much is GME first thumb wave here? I think about 20% or something, 13 or 20%. Let's see. So GME thumb wave, I'm expecting, how much is it here? Let's see. So they're actually repeating one more here. So they went up and come back, and then I thought they're gonna go up, but they pull back one more time, which means that they need more time. So they drag out one more day. So Monday 11 a.m. Let's say Monday 12 or something like that. If you see a GME go up to about 28%, oh, that's quite a lot. I'm not sure if it's gonna go up 28%, but between 28% to, let's say, how much AMC go up here? 13%. So how much is 13% here? So 13%. If I apply 30% is about here. So if I add a line here, not sure. Yeah, okay. So if you see somewhere between 13 to maybe this much, about 27 maybe. Let's see, how much is it? 20%. Yeah, so like whatever you see the number, the first thumb wave, this will this will give me a much more better ideas when they're gonna run. Okay, so let's say what I mean by that is, let's say if they run this thing up to this level like Monday, let's say they push up about 20%, then this thing will run on June 23rd. Same as AMC. And if this thing pop up to $28 level, then this thing go up, this thing will run in 24th. Okay, that means if I compare to AMC's here. AMC, it doesn't like this is amazing, like how they fucking like set it up exactly same as GME may run. Isn't it crazy? What the fuck? So if AMC pop up, hold on one second, guys. If AMC pop up to 350, yeah, if AMC pop up 350, 11% or 11.50, yeah, between 11% 12%, then run will begin on Monday. So if GME pop up to $27, which is from here to here, 20%, then this thing will start running also in June 23rd. Shit. Okay, so just watch that out. Let's watch out for that one. So either here, are we gonna run from here? Are we gonna top up here for the first thumb wave, or are we gonna top up here? This will make a really this is really important. This will this will determine when the run will begin. So let's see how much the first thumb wave will happen, and then the second thumb wave is on June 18, and then third one is just small one, and then boom. So let's see, right? That's pretty much it for today. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys have a good weekend, and then I'll see you probably like updates on Monday, maybe in the morning, maybe if I see this thing pop up and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm gonna give you an update on Monday. So I'm gonna take a break tomorrow, and then I'll keep you guys on Monday. So stay tuned, and then see you guys next time.